Welcome back to my channel, everybody. So today we are going to make pumpkin jar cozies for Halloween because it's coming up really quick. So let's grab our pattern off of Yarnspirations.com and follow along with me and your Red Heart Super Saver yarn in orange and black, and let's get started. Okay, everybody, let's get started making our pumpkin spooky jar cozies for Halloween this year. So what you're going to need are two colors for yarn. You're going to need orange and black in Red Heart Super Saver. You're going to need a 4mm hook, a yarn needle, and some scissors. Maybe a stitch marker if you want to keep track of your rows. And if you want to follow along with me, you can go and print off the pattern at yarnspirations.com. I'll put the link in the description box down below. Once you've got all your supplies together, let's get started. Okay, let's get started. We're going to start with our orange. So we're going to make it a slip knot to get started. And then after we're done, we're going to make a chain of 25. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to make my chain of 25, and when you're done that, I'll meet you at the end. So I'm done my chain of 25. This is what your chain should look like. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to single crochet in every single chain all the way to the end. You should be left with 24 stitches at the end of this row. So just put one single crochet in each stitch across. And once you're done that, I will meet you at the end and we will move on to the next row together. All right, I finished the first row. So this is what it should look like. If it's curling on you, that's okay. It'll do that. Once we get a little further along, it'll stop curling. But so we're going to move on from rows 2 to 5. So first we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to do this at every single row. Then what you're going to do is you're just going to put a single crochet in each stitch across. And you're just going to do this from rows 2 to 5. Making sure you have 24 stitches at the end of each row. And once you've hit row 5, I will meet up with you. If you finished row 5, this is what you should have. It should look something like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on to row 6. So we're going to chain 1 to begin and turn our work. And now what we're going to do is we are going to work in the back loop of our project. So looking at your work, your back loop is the loop that is farthest at my needle, so I can show you, you have 2 loops. So you have a front loop, which is the one closest to you, and then you have a back loop, which is the one farthest away from you. So we're going to be working in the back loops that are farthest away from us. So what we're going to do is we are going to put a single crochet in the next stitch. And then after that, we're going to do a single crochet 2 together stitch. So we're going to put our hook in the next stitch and pull up a loop. Then you have 2, and then you're going to put your hook in the next stitch after that and pull up a loop again until you have 3 on your hook. Once you have 3, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And then we're just going to repeat that. So single crochet in the next stitch, and then a single crochet 2 together. And then we're going to do it again. A single crochet, and then a single crochet 2 together. And we're going to do that until we've reached the end. Once you've reached the end of this row, I will join you there. Okay, if you finished round 6, if not, just pause the video and catch up. If you did, great, let's move on. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on to row 7. So we're going to chain 1 to begin and turn our work. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a row of increasing. So now we're going to put 1 single crochet in the front loops. Now we're going to be working in the loops that are closest to us. So in the front loops, you're going to do 1 single crochet. And then in the next one after that, you're going to do 2 single crochets in the next one after that. So 1 and 2. And then you're going to go 1 single crochet in the front loop, and then one after that, 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. And you're just going to repeat this all the way down to the end, working in only the front loops. And once you've reached the end of the row, I will meet you there. So this is what it should look like at the end of row 7. So what we're going to do now is from rows 8 to 11, we are just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch across. You should be back up to 24 stitches now. So we're going to chain 1 to begin, turn our work, and we're just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch, working in both loops. 1 stitch in each, all the way across. And once you've reached the end of row 11, I will meet you there, and we will move on to row 12 together. So I'm finished up to row 11. So now we're going to do rows 12 and 13, but we're just going to repeat the rows we did before, which is rows 6 and 7. So let's start with repeating row 6. So we're just going to chain 1 to begin and turn our work. Now row 6, you were working in the back loops only, which is again the loops farthest away from you. And all you're going to do is single crochet in the first stitch, and then single crochet 2 together in the next one after that. So 1 and 2, single them together, and then single crochet in the next stitch after that, and then single crochet 2 together. And you're going to, again, do that all the way to the end. Once you get to the end, you should have 16 stitches, my apologies. Once you get to the end, we will do rows 13 together. Okay, just finished off row 12, so let's do row 13 together. So we're going to chain 1 to begin, turn our work. Now we're going to be working in the front loops, which is the loops closest to us. And we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch after that. So now we're going to bring our stitch count back from 16 back to 24. And then we're going to go 1 in the next, and then 2 in the one after that. Okay, and we're just going to repeat this all the way to the end, and once you get to the end, I will meet you there. So this is what it should look like after you've finished up to row 13. So now for our pattern, we are going to do rows 14 to 55 on our own. I'm going to turn you loose. So you're just going to go back and repeat from rows 8 to 13 until you've reached 55 rows. So once you've reached 55 rows, I will meet up with you and we will finish off our pumpkin together. Okay, everybody, so once you've hit row 55, you should have something that looks like this. So now what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna take out my stitch markers. I'll put those to the side. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fasten off just by chaining 1, and then trimming our yarn. Now we're going to leave a tail for sewing. So a few inches, just so you can sew the side seams here together. Probably right about there. Okay. Now don't put your orange away. We're going to need that again in a few minutes. And then just pull your tail through. And then you're going to take your piece and you're just going to flip it over and put your edges together. Place your edges together, line them up as best you can. And you're going to thread your needle. Okay. And then you're just going to begin sewing your project together, nice and closed. Try not to leave too many gaps while sewing this closed. And try not to let your yarn fall out of your needle. Okay, just gonna slowly stitch it closed, trying not to leave too many holes. And you're just gonna work your way all the way down the side. And then once you make it to the end, you can fasten off and cut your yarn, and then we'll work on rounding out our bottom. Once you've sewn your seam together, you should have something that looks like this. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on just rounding out our bottom a little bit so it's a little bit more even. So you're gonna need your orange again and your hook. And you're just gonna make a slip knot. Put it on your hook, and you're gonna try to just find a place to join in. Any one of your rows is fine. And you're just gonna join in with a slip stitch, just like that. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna single crochet in the bottom of the rows. So you can see that the rows are going like this. So we're gonna single crochet and in the bottom of those rows. So just single crochet in the stitch you came out of. And then again in the next 3 rows, if you can find them. Just take your time. That's 2, and the next one's right here. That's 3, and then 4. Okay, and then you're gonna single crochet the next 2 rows together. So 1 and 2, and then pull it together. And I'm working over my tail a little bit so I don't have to sew it in later. So now you're just going to put a single crochet in the next 4 rows again. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you're just going to single crochet the next 2 rows together. And you're just going to repeat that all the way around. And once you get back to the beginning, slip stitch to the first single crochet you made. And then I will meet you there, and then we work on the face of our pumpkin. Let's get ready to do the face on our pumpkin here. So I've done one eyebrow and an eye and the nose already. So we're gonna do the other eye and eyebrow together, and then I'll turn you loose for the mouth. So you're gonna need some black, either black yarn or embroidery floss, whatever you have. You're gonna take it and pass it through the back, and you're gonna try to aim for the center as best as you can. Now leaving a tail would help, so that way you can make sure your yarn doesn't slip through on you. Just go above a little bit, a few stitches. We're just going to pull our tails through, and then you're just going to go in through the hole you came out of the first time, and then back in through the same hole you made the second time. So you're just going to go in and out, and then go a little bit over and do the same thing, making sure your eyes are as even as you can. Okay. Then you can play around with the yarn to make sure it looks okay. And then you can use that same yarn to do the eyebrow as well. So just go a little bit above the eyebrow, and then just go straight across with the yarn, trying to make it as wide as you want it. And then you're going to go in and out of that hole maybe 2 times total. So it's thick but not too thick. And if your yarn tail is long enough, you can do the nose as well. So go ahead and do the mouth however you want. And once you've done that, I will meet up with you. And there we have it, our finished product of our pumpkin jar cozy. And there we have it, everybody. We made a pumpkin jar cozy for Halloween this year. So you could probably make these in many different colors: ghosts, goblins, ghouls, Frankenstein, you choice, up to you. But don't forget to send me some pictures. Link them to my Instagram, which is in the description box down below. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button and notification bell, and I will see you next week.